get that shape happening. We're back on this little scooter build here. Now, last thing I was doing when I was doing this build, I was doing a little bit of a brief overview in metal finishing, hammering up, this sort of stuff, and how I go about metal finishing, doing a little bit there. So this section is all done, these little side bits, they're done, all fitting up. It was dinted all through here and needed hammering out, correcting. These side panels had some dents in and that sort of thing as well. But pretty much this bit here, these sides, and this is done in here. So what we're going to be moving on to is doing the seat area. So up in here, looking for the lines, doing a nice line all the way around here. And this does have corrosion all the way through, which is what you get on your aluminium. Pretty much you're rusting. You're going to end up with a whole bunch of holes. So up in where these divots are here, it's all corroded. The holes are gone big. There's holes all the way through in the top in here as well, where it's just corroded all the way through. Where steel and aluminium, when you've got them together, you should have a really good primer and a paint in between those, because when you got Ali on steel, the aluminium, that's going to end up corroding out, which it has done in here. So by the time you cut this out and end up replacing it, fixing up the dents that are all on the edges and everything as well on this build, you end up metal finishing it. There's that much time and you may as well make a new one. So we're going to go through and recreate this whole piece up in here, fix that up, paper template that out, get into it, and then I'll show you how I've gone about it. Starting out in this and doing my pattern, I have got the center of what this roll is on the sides and here in the front. So up in the fronts in here, it's going to need shrinking and then bringing over, and then it's going to need some stretching down in this area as this rolls up. I might block it in, might roll it, I'll see how it goes when I get to it, but there is going to be needing some stretching to be done up in here, and then when that top roll comes back over, to be shrunk up in through the top in this area in here. So first things first, cut out a bit of a blank of paper, be able to lay this pattern on, and then it's aluminium, so you can't use magnets on this. So I've got some strong rare earth magnets. I can put one magnet underneath and then one magnet on top, which then it'll actually hold that down. Sometimes I'll use some dollies, weigh a little bit of weight on top, and then use those magnets. But down in this front area where that comes in, see where that crease is in there, that's where you're going to be needing that to be shrunk. So we're going to paper template that, evenly crease up these areas in here for this template to be nice and equal. And then down in the back where this rolls up in here, where there's too much here, that's going to need a couple little cuts to be done through there and then magnetized down where it's going to need stretching in there. So we'll lay this out, get all our marks and everything, then we've got our blank. We can add a little extra material for flanges because we're going to have to fold flanges over, and then we can get into actually shaping it. So we'll do this template first and then move on. Pattern's laid out. I've got my shrink area, stretch area, and shrink area all in here. And you want this to be as flat as you can get this paper, because your paper's going to tell you everything that you need to do. And as you can see up the front, it needs to crease in. That's your shrink area, and where those reliefs need to be made here, that's your stretch area in through here. And you just want that as flat and as tight to it as you can get that. Up in the front, you kind of want to get as many little creases as you can, not just one big one. Otherwise your template's not going to look all that good when you lay it out. And the next thing I'm going to do now this is laid out is just pencil everything up, pencil my lines, and I can see through the paper into here where I'll put my black marker pen. So I'll be able to mark with my marker pen where that roll needs to happen, and it's the center of that roll. I've got that marker pen in through there, and then right up in here where this crease is stopped, that is the point in where I can stop my shrink. So I can come up to a shrink point, and that's the area that I want to be moving. And then stretch there, roll that up, shrink the top, cut that blank, and start shaping it. I've cut out this blank ready to shape and transferred. These lines that are on here is actually a transfer off the paper pattern. So where I had those marks on the paper, I've scribed through and done tiny little scratches onto this piece, which then I can transfer all that information off here onto my piece of aluminium. So in the steps that I'm going to take to shape this, I'm going to start here in the back and get a bit of a roll up in here happening, and then just sort of tip this edge over here and work from there down into the front, because if I shape all this with that edge rolled over here, it's going to take a lot more work to bring this up. So I'm going to roll this in here first, bring that up, bring this back side down, and then shrink these fronts, work up here in the front. So we'll start here in the rear, get that rolled and get some shape happening. As you can see, up in this section here, that needs to come around and fall down into here. So a lot of stretching up in here. So this here's been bent around the gas bottle, just adding a little bit of shape in here, getting it to fall down while these areas here have been stretched. Now, I have started putting a bit of a line up in through here. It is going to look ugly before it looks good, but started turning a bit of a line up in here just to help with this material, because all this stuff in here, that's going to be shrunk. But this here is starting to fall. So now I've kind of got what I want going on in around here. As you can see, it still needs to come around more, but that is starting to fall with the shape. So I'll work up in here just a bit more. But as I start to bring this around, that material is going to come down, and then I'll be able to work this area a bit more and just get a bit more stretching going on up in here, and then a bit of shrinking up in here, and then that'll just help that continue to fall as I put this one here in. This is starting to come to shape. I have done a lot of thumbnail shrinking, bit of kick shrinking as well, but as you can see, that side's fitting good. And over here, that is where you need to be shrinking your material for that to come down and lay flat. So I've got to work this side up in here some more, and then over through here, fitting really good. So do the same over here, bit more wheeling, get it really nice and through here. And then the rear section's done and we can move up in the front. And also I've done a little bit of wheeling up in here where it needs a bit of wheeling as well. To add to that, so in through here, you got to bring these sides around so that can start to fall with these sides. So that's been wheeled up through there, having that come around with that. And then the center up in here, that's been wheeled a little bit in here where that needs a bit of wheeling as well. So shrink up in here some more, bit more wheeling, and then working in that front, getting that front to come around. You can bend this around your knee a little bit just to get that shape happening. Get it to lay a little bit nicer because you want all your stuff to lay good. Mark out where you need to shrink. So in through here, that's where I'm going to do a bit of shrinking. So that's the more complex part of this section done. When you're reading your paper and you know exactly what needs to be done, makes this relatively easy. You just got to read, see where it needs stretching, see where it needs shrinking, and then you can figure it out from there. So this isn't actually too bad of a shape to make, and you know, your flange isn't this big, all that sort of stuff, so it's actually not too bad. You can stretch these areas in other ways, but the power hammer just makes that a lot quicker and easier. And it's a nice little job using a few different tools, using the big wheel, using the stretching dies on the power hammer, little shrinking dies on the little power hammer, and then the little wheel as well. Doing this little detail up in here with these nice little tight radius lower anvils just makes for a really nice job, turning that edge and making that a little bit better. Now, on to doing this front section. I am going to need to tighten up these side bits in here a bit more, but I just want to get this front over, get these shrunk in around here, just to have that fall and be a lot closer to the shape. So start shaping that, bringing that around, and then I can tighten up these side bits and tighten up that front, getting this fitting and sitting on here really nicely. So that is going to be what I'm going to do next, is getting in through this front, and we'll add some little details up in here. All right, this thing needs a ton more shape. Got to come around a lot of shrinking in here. Now that's starting to fit and look good. Starting to look really good. Shape's pretty much there. This shape's looking good. I do need to clean up some marks, just tooling marks, that sort of thing, off this, but we need to add some details into this. So this little bit up in here, we've got to add that into this panel. So we're going to put these details in. I have marked out some lines. I've got the dotted line here, which I marked off my template, and then done a little template of this inner line. Now, you can do that with a pressing tool, things like that, but I'm going to do this with a dolly and a couple of hammers. So put the edge of my dolly where that line is, work out where that is, and then just start bringing it in with a few little different hammers, tapping that into here. And this line that's on the inside, this line here is the line that I'm going to hit onto, and then that dotted line is where the dolly is going to be to stop that going in, because I only want this section here to go in. That's how we're going to put that in. We'll start working it, and then this thing will be close. Now, you guys did not see the finished product, but here it is right here. Here's the finished product. I didn't get a YouTube video in the nice long way. I just got vertical for Instagram. Absolutely forgot to get the finished product for YouTube. So sorry about that, but next one, I'll get onto it. And anyway, I hope you guys learn a few things, learn about laying out a paper pattern. That's one of the most important things. It's going to tell you what to do. So it's going to tell you areas where you need to shrink, where you need to do some stretching, and try and do a panel as big as you can. If you can cut down on welding time, that's going to save you time in the future. And just keep pushing your limits, keep trying to strive each job better and better. So that's one thing from me for you. And get after it, start shaping some metal. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one.